guys, and welcome back to Eden. So, let's just jump right back in. It was clear to me that Sion had inherited Alicia's kindness. Delighted. That would be nice. It's all hypothetical in the end. Honestly, I don't know the truth myself. Nobody can extend the time I have remaining. Would the days where I just watched over her as she slept, her deep sleep continue? Helplessly sitting by her side was sure to be painful, for more than crawling around a battlefield ever was. Sion, do you want to take a trip somewhere? Like where exactly? Anywhere is fine. Nobody will chase us anymore. Nobody will get in our way. We can go anywhere in this entire world. It wouldn't be too hard to find a car or a helicopter. It wasn't like they had taken all of the fuel into space. There may not be 4 seasons here, but there are any number of hot or cold locales, and places with unusual natural features and buildings. Thank you, Ro. A soft smile formed on Sion's face. But I think I'll be just fine here after all. As long as I can stay here with you until the end, that's enough for me. She plopped her head onto my shoulder, and softly wrapped my arm around her shoulder. We shared a kiss. This time, I pushed my lips against hers a bit more forcefully, so that I could trace her soft, slightly cold lips. Sion, in here you told me you hadn't gone soft. Did I? I hugged her slender shoulders even tighter. She didn't resist and cuddled up to me. Bro, I'm still a little mad. About earlier? It apparently wasn't a joke that she wanted me to kiss her, so her anger was reasonable. There's that too, but one other thing. You kissed Maya. That? That was beyond my control. I never imagined Maya would do something like that in a million years. Even I get mad at times. I do have those sorts of emotions. By those sorts of emotions, did she mean jealousy? But Sion, you're the only one I can kiss now. We're the only ones left. My answer would be the same no matter what. Sion said nothing and stared straight at me. There was no wind. There was a tense silence, like the lake, grass, forest. All the entire mountain had fallen into a slumber. What a surprise! You've got a real way with women, don't you? Sion blushed and was grumbling something, seemingly to herself. I don't know about that. I'm just putting my thoughts into words. In that case, may I say what's on my mind as well? Yeah. I gave her a firm nod. We were both pretty awkward when it came to this. However, now that we were all alone, now that our own words were the only words that would ever reach each other, it would be nice if we could speak our minds honestly. Hey, Ro. What is it? Ah! She's so cute! Here we go. Yeah! Our eyes came together, and we whispered to each other. There was no need to raise our voices. Gently speaking to one another was enough for us to understand each other. While I can still move these hands of mine freely, while I can still see you in this reality, I want to touch you more. I want you to kiss me more. And then, after a short pause, she pointed her unwavering eyes at me and spoke once more. Because I love you. I'm in love with you. Yeah, I couldn't come up with much to say in response to Sion's feelings. I feel the same. After finally mustering up the guts to say it, I realized something. They were here all along. All the emotions I was never able to harbor for anyone, not for my sister, not for Alicia, nor for Lavier, were right here in my heart. Sion, from here on out, I'll be with you forever. Yeah, together, forever. As she whispered that, she softly closed her eyes. I silently held her in my arms. We didn't say a word to each other when we returned home. We just laid side by side in bed. Not sleeping, but not talking about anything either. We held each other's hands upon that narrow bed, looked up at the ceiling and gazed at each other. Occasionally kissed. We leisurely spent that calming, simple time together. We were shrouded in a mysterious euphoria, like we'd remembered something very precious. Oh my. What put an end to that time was the sound of Sion's stomach. But... You haven't eaten anything for 3 days after all. Yeah. I lightly kissed her cheek as she shyly hung her head. I'll go make something to eat. Would you like to eat in the living room? Bring it here. Got it. I kissed her once more, this time on the lips, and stood up. Hurry back, okay? Yeah. On reflex, I reached for the handgun beside my bed. I drew my hand back. Ro? No, it's nothing. Guns were no longer necessary. Sion and I were the only two on the planet. No longer was there anyone or anything who would threaten her. From now on, I just had to be by her side. That alone would be enough. Returning quickly was top priority, which meant there was no time for hesitating. Sion probably couldn't eat all that much, and strangely enough, I wasn't all that hungry either. We had plenty of rice, and I found some salmon flakes after quickly going through the shelves. I guess salmon rice balls will do. I'll dice some wild vegetables and mix them in to go with it. 2 kinds of rice balls, and some pickled vegetables ought to do it. I could always open another can if it didn't look like it was going to be enough. With that decided, I got right to work. I decided to boil some water first and grab the kettle. I quickly had 5 rice balls ready, prepared some pickled vegetables and warm tea, and returned to the bedroom. However, the room was empty. For a moment I wondered if having woken her up had all been a dream. That couldn't be possible. I distinctly remembered how soft she was when I hugged her, and how her lips felt against mine. Sion? I set down the tray somewhere within reach and immediately left the room. Not here. Not here either. There was one place left. As I went outside, a chilly wind blew against me. I noticed the temperature had been dropping lately. But the difference at night compared to earlier was remarkable. The surrounding climate might have begun changing as well. Now's not the time, I murmured and started to run, but immediately stopped. Sion! There she stood, a short distance away, unmoving, just standing there with her back to me. She stood so still, it was as if she wasn't even breathing. Sion! I tried to call out to her once more, but she didn't show any response. What's wrong, Sion? You'll catch a cold out here. I grabbed and tugged her shoulder. What? Sion! When she turned around, her face looked like a blank slate. Her empty, hollow eyes sent chills down my spine. They're calling to me. They're calling you? They're all saying, come with us. Sion! Sion's body shook violently, like she'd been struck by lightning. Ro? The light returned to her eyes. Her ordinary, slightly surly, yet deeply radiant eyes. Sion, right? Yeah? Ro, what are you doing? That's what I should be asking. Huh? She tilted her head, seemingly unaware of what was going on. Sion, get it together! This is reality! Here, where I am, is reality. Yeah, I see. That's right. I was a bit relieved to see her nodding over and over. I had thought this for a while now, but Sion might be far too sensitive for her own good. Her nerves were so hypersensitive, anything could trigger a reaction from her. I know I'm not normal. It doesn't matter to me if you're not normal. But don't be fooled. By what? Right now, I am the only one in this entire world who can call out to you. You mustn't go no matter what other voices you may hear. Even if you do, you won't find anyone. You're living here, don't ever forget that. Yeah. If I do act like I'm going somewhere, will you stop me? As many times as it takes. Thank you. If she only had a little more time remaining. I wanted her to be by my side when the end came. And I wanted to be by her side too. If we reunited with those who had already left us afterwards, I was sure it wouldn't be too late. Something was beginning to change, that much was certain. We could hear no birds chirping in the morning, nor the echo of the mountain stream that had ceased to flow, and the green leaves glistened with the previous night's dew had darkened. They were small, easily overlooked changes, but they were happening all around us. Ordinarily, she might have noticed these little details. However, that was probably impossible with the way she was now. Because what had changed the most in these past few days was her. I'm back. Though I knew there was nobody there to answer, I called out before I entered the living room regardless. I placed the vegetables I had harvested while out on my morning rounds onto the table. They haven't been growing very well lately. They were genetically modified to have a superior shape, taste, and rate of growth when compared to traditional vegetables too. All the same, it was more than enough for two. At least for now anyway. Hmm? There was some sort of strange buzzing sound. I looked around and immediately found the source of the noise. Oh, I completely forgot about it. Alicia's radio. We hadn't had any reception in a long time, so it was mostly for decoration. I could just turn it off, but the batteries would probably die soon anyway. May as well leave it be. For now, I decided to make breakfast. I picked out a box of pre-packaged stew from the shelf. Although we haven't been able to bring in many vegetables lately, we had plenty of these preserved goods. It was ironic, in a way, that the food I'd prepared for Sion was supposed to stay here on her own was now feeding mostly me. I decided to whip up an egg dish while heating up the stew pack. I cracked the eggs into a bowl, beat them, and stirred in salt and pepper. After putting some butter in a frying pan and heating it, I poured in the eggs and scrambled it all together. This should do it. The flavor would be a bit lacking since we had no milk, but it was unavoidable. I put the scrambled eggs onto a plate and went to check on the stew. It looked like it was just about right. I knocked quietly, then entered Sion's room without waiting for her to answer. Morning. There was no response from the master of the room laying in her bed. I set our tray of breakfast down somewhere handy for the moment and approached her bed. Sion. I addressed her once more. Still, no reply. How many times have I repeated this very routine? I gazed at the peacefully sleeping girl. You can wake up any time now, Sion. I gently took her hand. She was a bit cold, and it seemed as though she had gotten a little thinner than before. Since she's been doing nothing but sleep, she hasn't been eating properly. She ate more than matched her small frame when she was awake, too. I began to softly stroke her hand. It was likely meaningless, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to do something. Anything at all I could for her. Sion. Yes? I was taken by surprise and let go of her hand. Upon another glance at Sion's face, her eyes had certainly opened. Sion! Don't call my name so many times. Though her voice was quiet and hoarse, she seemed fully lucid. Ro, are you okay? I should be asking you that. I'm glad. Glad? Sion cocked her head and looked at me with amusement. I'm glad the world didn't end while I was sleeping. If the end does come, as long as you're alive, I won't let you die. You won't die either? It'll take more than that to kill me. How strange. A fleeting smile crossed her lips. I get the feeling you might just survive. You make it feel like the end of the world is of no concern to you. It's so strange. The finale that she had spent her life to oppose now was no longer of any concern. No matter what might happen, I would protect the peaceful time remaining to Sion, even if it cost me my life. I slept quite well. You slept way too much. Did I? Her head moved slightly. It looked like she'd meant to tilt her head. It broke my heart seeing her in pain from such slight movements. Did you fool around with me or anything while I was asleep? I didn't. It looked like her mind was already up and running. I'll bet in the wrong direction. So you didn't. I see. Of course not. If you just couldn't control yourself anymore, I wouldn't mind. Do you think I'm some sort of animal or something? I've heard that men are like that. Your knowledge on that subject sounds a little on the extreme side. Really? Yes. I knew she loved Alicia, but it was a bit troubling how she ate up everything that Maid said to her. However, Ro, let's just drop the subject. I can't do anything in return, so it's fine by me if it will please you. In that case, I have one request. What is it? Get up a little earlier. When you do nothing but sleep, I can't help but be bored. Ro! Sorry. Sion slowly raised her hand. My hand is kind of warm. Did you warm it up for me? That's about all I could do for you. I held her hand one more time. Both my hands wrapped around hers, gently yet firmly. Ro, you can't. Can't what? If you're that nice to me. Never mind. Never mind what? I started to follow up, but I held my tongue. When I saw the troubled look on her face, I couldn't speak anymore. Being kind to her, giving her more memories, that might be a heavy burden for a girl nearing the end of her life. Ro, I have a request of my own. Yeah, ask anything you want. I want to take a bath. Huh? Please? Sion's smile looked just a little vicious. Oh boy. I set some iced tea on the table and Sion immediately took it in hand. Thank you. She drank it down immediately. She must have been hot after getting out of the bath. Delicious. It's nothing to get so moved by. More, please. Just one glass. Cold things aren't very good for your body. Glare at me all you want, I'm still saying no. You've gotten a lot like Alicia lately. That's not a comparison I'm entirely comfortable with. I grinned and Sion, a little dejected, flicked the rim of her now empty glass with her finger. Well, that's fine. Though you did finally get in the bath with me. This time it was my turn to be a little upset. I couldn't let her get in the bath alone in her condition. There was nothing we could do. I had no choice but to wash her hair and body for her. So, did you enjoy it? She tilted her head and asked me without any expression on her face. Not really. Because I have this sort of figure? That's not it. If you think about it, wouldn't it have made more sense to just wipe yourself down than force yourself into the bath? That wouldn't feel good at all. You know, come to think of it, why do you dislike bathing alone? After she thought it over a moment, Sion's cheeks turned red for some reason. When I'm washing my hair, it feels like someone is behind me. I guess I can understand that. So that's why you used to have Alicia join you every time? Come on, what's scary is scary. She may have been pretty old, but she still had her childish tendencies. But this is all the time that I have for this episode, guys, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!